And I'm going to ask Robeson to come on up. They can sit either at the table or you can go to the podium. And when you do speak, make sure the mic is in front of you so that people in TV land can hear you. You can pass the mic around too when you're there. Tonight we have Assistant Principal Megan Kirby, who is going to present with her SILT team and talk about their school improvement process. And a little shout out to Megan too. She's kind of been doing some dual duty over there at Robeson. So getting this together today was really wonderful, and I'm very glad they were able to present given some of the things happening. Okay, Megan, I'm going to turn it over to you and your team.
Yeah, thank you for having us. We're excited to be here. Thanks to the board for allowing us to present. I just want to say this is just a glimpse of what we do in our school, so we encourage you guys to come in and see what we do because there's only so much we can put on the slides. We already had to cut some information, so it would have been very long if we were to list everything we're doing. So there's some great things happening. I would like to go ahead and introduce our SILT team. We have Sunny McMurray, our coach at Robeson, and she is on our C&I team. We have Caitlin Lutt, who is on our culture and climate, and she's also a 5th grade teacher. And Sunny McMurray and Lisa Hoeing co-chair the C&I team for our SILT team, and she's a 2nd grade teacher. And we have Tomas Milo, who is co-chair with Sarah Madden as well for our equity committee, and he is a kindergarten teacher. So we're happy that they're all here today with us. Briefly, I just want to show where we are as demographics as Robeson. So you can see that we're a very diverse school, which we love and appreciate. Our school definitely represents the population in Champaign, I would say. And today I looked, and we are at 450 students, so we've added a few since we've added data to this slide. Our 3 committees that I spoke of are culture and climate, curriculum instruction, and equity. And I would also like to, one thing at Robeson, we do have parents on each of our committee, which is a part of our initiative of bringing the families into the school and collaborating with them on each of our goals. And so for our culture and climate, our focus this year and this upcoming year is quarterly. Each teacher will use goal setting to allow for students to comprehend and communicate their growth related to self-management. And this is specifically identified through our behavioral data that we have this year and last year. Our curriculum and instruction goal for this year and upcoming is that 80% of Robeson students will be able to comprehend grade level material with all students showing growth. And then equity, collaborating with staff and PTA to host 2 family engagement events focused on comprehension and communication skills, focusing on inclusion and engagement of our underrepresented groups. So again, we have a parent on each of those committees, which is exciting for us. And then that moves us to our focus schools for instructional excellence. So I'll let Lisa take that over. They're up close if you want to hear.
Thanks. So through our focus school SIP days, we've been trying to figure out a target that Robeson can concentrate on. So we came up with Robeson Rockets will comprehend and communicate. And so we're going to, we have tried to get all of the staff involved in coming up with that as our decision to focus on this goal. And so we try to get our students involved with this process as well. So that robot is going to be replaced with a student-created drawing mascot for our R2C2. So we held a drawing contest, and students submitted their applications. We then placed them in our teachers' lounge, so teachers have narrowed it down to 3 choices. And then this Thursday, we have our arts and culture night, so parents and students who attend will get to vote on which one they like. And so then we plan on using that as our R2C2 model in our upcoming in next year's kind of papers that we show, spotlight that we have. That will be what we will use.
I'm going to touch on the data a little bit. So when we were trying to determine where we wanted our kids to go academically, we knew that there was an achievement gap between our Black students and our white students. And we also have at Robeson the FLS program. So we knew that we wanted students to not just be able to read and write, but also comprehend and communicate, because that encompasses so much more than just reading and writing. We want our kids to be able to interact socially, emotionally with one another. We want them to be able to communicate what their needs are, but we also want them to be able to understand what other people's needs are, in addition to grade level materials as well. So some of the data that we have been looking at and that we're proud of, we've moved on IAR, we've moved from a targeted to a commendable summative state designation. Our Black students moved from 27.6% growth to 40.5% growth in math. And we were able to decrease the achievement gap between Black students and white students by 5% in both math and ELA. Obviously, there's room to grow in that, but we're going in the right direction. When we looked at our MAP scores, our Black students outperformed our white students in meeting growth targets in the ELA test during that fall to winter test period. And when we look at Panorama, which is primarily that SEL data, student growth mindset scores have increased since the fall and are higher than the district average. So we are really trying to help our students understand that you can continue to get better, that something might be hard, but you can do hard things.
And I would say with the growth mindset, we've been very intentional of teaching students how to set goals, both in SEL and academics. So I think that growth mindset piece really connected as we're having students focus on where they're at and where they need to go. And so with that, with equity, we provided identified CRE strategies and activities embedded in the current curriculum. We provided professional development focused on practical action specific to our needs at Robeson. And also with the district administrators, we conducted the mandatory diversity, inclusion, equity, implicit bias training. That was mostly last year as well. But where we're going, again, we are a school that's trying to bring our families in as much as possible, and specifically to host those 2 family engagement focused school nights on comprehension and communication skills. We just had our spring carnival, and I think had over 150 families and students there. We had a VIP line, and then we had the people who signed up a little bit late, but the families were out the door. There are so many volunteers there in the community helping. Our PTA is amazing that made that run very smoothly. We have, again, Arts and Culture Night this Thursday, if you guys want to come on by. And that moves us back to CNI.
So Lisa and I co-chair this committee, and we've worked a lot this year with the Focus Schools work, collaborating around a targeted learning focus. We implemented some school-wide assessments to monitor student performance. And we have also really been focusing on increasing student discourse, particularly in math with our Envision materials. We really want kids to be, again, communicating what their understanding is of math, but then also being able to explain their thinking. Where we are going, we are excited about the Amplify CKLA adoption, so thank you for that. We love the brain-based reading practices within CKLA Amplify, so we're excited to start doing some professional development around that. And then our 3 evidence-based learning practices across the content areas are related to goal setting, feedback, and reflection. So we know that those have a very high impact on student learning. So starting in the fall, all of our students will be regularly, whether that's weekly, whether that's every other week, setting goals for themselves related to either social emotional health or academic learning, and then getting feedback from their teacher, meaningful feedback from their peers, and then also doing some self-reflection to determine how well they're meeting their goals and what they might need to change going forward in the future.
And then for our Climate and Culture Committee, we have worked on updating our PBIS matrix, and we focus on respect, integrity, self-control, and effort. We also implemented the RISE tickets, which are the picture up there, and those are given to students for following our matrix by staff members. And then we also created a common language promoting self-management. And where we are going, we are creating monthly celebrations to help support students with their self-management goals. We are developing and implementing training on promoting those self-management skills for the students, and we are also creating opportunities for students to comprehend and communicate their needs in relation to their self-management. And then something else, I'm also a part of our AVID site team. So something that we've been implementing At our schools, we've been having Avid Days, which celebrate community members and show our students different careers and colleges that they have opportunities to see. We thought that students are lacking exposure to diverse sets of people that are in these fields. So we've had the mayor come. Here are some other pictures of people who have came, and we've had a good turnout of that. So we'd love to see you all there if you have an opportunity to celebrate college and career readiness.
I think that's it. Any questions?
Thank you so much. Questions?
You don't get to move. You don't get to run yet. Stay so I get a big good picture.
Does anybody have questions? It's been a pleasure. Bruce, go ahead.
No, I was just going to ask, what's changed in the last couple of years? Like, what do you attribute that growth to?
One of the things that this has been a few years ago now, one of the goals that we've had is to really intentionally target instruction at our Black students. One thing that I think, and Mr. Milo probably doesn't want to speak, but one thing that has been wonderful has been Mr. Milo's leadership and Mrs. Madden, who they both chair our equity team, just really opening up honest conversations around race and what that means for us in our district, and particularly in our school. So calling that to the forefront of our mind before we're actually teaching has been, in my opinion, has been helpful.
I just want to add that a couple weeks ago I came by there because, sometimes I just need to get my bucket filled, and I can do that with kids. So I came by there to check in, see how things were going, and saw amazing teaching. But I went to every kindergarten classroom, and they were all doing the same thing, and then it was about time for break. But Mr. Milo, your kids, I loved them, and I could tell by the environment that they're free to kind of be themselves, and that's a good thing. But they were just wanting to laugh and talk with me, and they said to me, "We want to fill your bucket." That's exactly what they said to me, and that's what I needed. So that's why, I know the book, fill your bucket or whatever, but for the kiddos to say it, I didn't say it. They just came up to me, and that's what they were saying. "We want to fill your bucket," and I tell you, they did. And so in every classroom I went into that day, it was. And so I just want to say thank you. I know things are a little rocky, a little bit with this changes and stuff happening, but you all are holding it down, and I really appreciate it. And I see teaching going on, and the kids still love to be at school. And a couple of them asked me, "Are you our new principal?" And I was like, "No, but I'm going to help make sure you get a great one." And they're like, "Okay, can we tell you what we want?" And so the part that really hit me the hardest was when they said, "We want someone who is strict but fair." Kids want something they want people to be consistent, and they want to know that they're loved and that things are going the way it's supposed to. They want to be reassured that they're in a safe place. And so when they said that to me, I got a little teary, and I was like, I don't know, I'm just kind of going through some things, I guess, right now. But anyway, I just wanted to tell you all that to your face. Thank you, and your kids are doing great. And they have filled my bucket, and I will be back so they can continue to do so, because sometimes it gets a little empty. But thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Boozer. Anyone else? Last question. How can we support you more? It's an on the spot. You can think about it. I know you'll email. I know you could.
I will say that starting here and actually listening to all of the schools, I'm really glad that you guys are doing that. I feel like that's a huge component that as teachers, we don't always feel heard. We don't always know that you guys have a sense of what's happening in each building. And there are a lot of buildings in this district, and each one is a little bit different. So thank you for taking the time to spend time. There's a lot of business that needs to get done in a meeting, but the fact that you're taking the time to process what you're seeing and hearing from the different schools matters. So thank you for that. That's a great start.
Thank you so much. Dr. Taylor?
And you are our business, because without you all this other stuff doesn't matter. So bringing you all here, having the schools come and speak to our board, to our community, everyone needs to know and hear. I always say it's a great day, but for them to see it and hear it from you all matters more than hearing it from me. You're proof. So I'm gonna stop talking because I love this portion of the meeting.